In the profound silence of an ancient ashram, where the sacred smoke mingled with the dying amber of the twilight to create a transcendental atmosphere, Patanjali sat. He was not merely a sage of historical records. He was the living embodiment of eternal awakening. His presence radiated a quiet power, the silence of one who has seen every question dissolve into the absolute. Before him stood a disciple, the archetype of the seeker, carrying the longing, the restlessness, and the ancient thirst of 10,000 births. The disciple spoke, his voice heavy with the exhaustion of years of asceticism. "Master, tell me, what is the easiest way to enlightenment?" The question was innocent, almost childlike, yet it reflected the great illusion of humanity, the desperate craving for a shortcut, a technique, or a destination. Patanjali smiled not with amusement, but with a vast compassion for the complexity that humans cling to like a treasure. He closed his eyes, listening to the silence present in the here. "And now," Anne replied softly, "the easiest way is to see that there is no distance to travel." The disciple was stunned. He had spent a lifetime reading scriptures, practicing austerities, and wearying himself with the effort to fix himself. How could there be no distance when his mind was still a storm of desires and fears? Patanjali lifted a hand, a gesture as sharp as a blade of clarity. "Cutting through the fog of logical thought, those are movements on the surface. They belong to the mind, and the mind is not you. The wave may rise or fall, but the ocean remains eternal and untouched." Patanjali's transformative way of speaking was not meant to provide new information, but to strip away illusions. When the disciple asked, "If the mind is not me, then what am I?" the sage used the method of direct pointing to indicate the ultimate reality. You are the witness, the sakshi, unchanging, unborn, undying. Thoughts arise, dance, and wither within you, like clouds drifting across the sky. A cloud can never harm the sky. You remain, yet the ego of the disciple did not surrender easily. It was addicted to complexity. It believed that enlightenment must be something spectacular or an explosive experience. Patanjali saw through this resistance. He knew the ego could only survive through effort and struggle. Doing is the problem. His voice turned keen. Doing strengthens the doer, and the doer is the ultimate illusion. You have done too much. Truth is simple, but you love complexity because it feeds your ego through discipline and dogma. The disciple wondered about meditation, about the techniques he had so diligently mastered. Patanjali offered an analogy filled with Zen-like wisdom. Meditation is like washing your hands. It removes the dirt, but it does not create the hand. Techniques are boats used to cross the river. Once on the other shore, only a fool carries the boat on his head. Awakening is not the result of effort. It is the recognition of what has always been there, once the dust on the mirror of the mind settles here. The narrative followed a spiral structure, moving from outward questions about how to. Patanjali pushed the disciple deeper into the nature of the I. He used paradox to break the conventional mind. The harder you try, the further you stay. The more you seek, the more you lose the trail. Enlightenment is, in fact, the absence of the one who wants to achieve it. A profound loosening began to occur within the disciple. Tears fell not from sorrow, but from a delayed realization. He saw that he had been running away from the present to find a there in a phantom future. He asked in a broken whisper, "If I drop the seeker, what remains?" Everything that is true will remain. Why fear the truth? Humans fear simplicity because simplicity is the death of the ego. The ego needs pilgrimages, rituals, and high philosophies to feel it is evolving. But enlightenment is the ultimate stopping. The dialogue reached its zenith as Patanjali gave the disciple presence instead of a path. He taught him to stay in the I am before it could be defined by anything else. This was the ultimate neti-neti. Not this, not that. I am not this thought. I am not this emotion. I am the space that contains them. The easiest way is to not move an inch from yourself. Stay as pure observation. Watch without identification. Identification is bondage. Observation is freedom. With that, Patanjali closed his eyes, dissolving back into the infinite stillness. The disciple sat there, no longer trembling, no longer seeking. He understood that the freedom he had craved for so long had been sitting quietly behind him all along. This is the essence of transformative writing. It does not teach you to add anything. It helps you subtract yourself until you return to the ocean of pure awareness. Though scholars may debate the historical authenticity, noting that these words echo the spirit of Ashtavakra, Tanza, or Ramana Maharshi more than the traditional Patanjali of the Yoga Sutras, the transformative value remains undeniable. It touches the pain point of every seeker exhausted by effort. It affirms a simple, supreme truth. You do not need to become anyone, for you are already everything. In the final silence, the disciple realized enlightenment is not an achievement, but a letting go. When the seeker vanishes, the truth reveals itself. And he smiled, a smile as still as his master's, realizing he had been home the entire time without ever knowing it.